his tricks are sick because he does them all nice and clean and stylish. And he's always great to watch.
All the tricks he does is great, and the way he does them is great, but the way he links everything together is better than anything I've ever seen before.
Hey, I'm Mark Shays, and I'm hanging out with Arlo Eisenberg, taking a look back at the prelims. Tied Chris, the guy they were just talking about, absolutely dominated once again.
Well, he finished last season on a very strong note, winning the World Championships. And ever since then, he has come back with a vengeance. A lot of people were saying maybe Tig wouldn't be able to keep up with the Yasutokos the way they were bringing out new tricks at every contest. But he went back to the drawing board and has come back absolutely on a tear. Every run this season, in the past two contests especially, he has been getting more and more confident. Look at the lines that Tig puts together. And this is just a prelims contest, going fakie into the backslide. It's like he's sending a message to the rest of the field that he is running shop this season.
Yeah, in Bristol, Connecticut at the last X-Trials event, he actually ended out with a score above a 95 out of 100. We haven't seen those in a couple of years.
Well, the judges have been good about raising those scores so that reflects the skating that we're seeing out there, because all the skaters have certainly answered the call. And there's a Garfunkel, something that he learned from Shane Yost. And what a perfect run. And this is only in the prelims. Let's take a look at what Tig Chris has been doing, why he's at the top. This is a topside forward porn star, not something we're accustomed to seeing Tig doing. And that is why he's getting such a great response from the judges, because he's throwing something new in all of his runs now.
91.25 qualifies him with gusto in a first place. Very international field. He leads Shane Yost, the Yasutoko brothers, and Fabiola Da Silva. 3 Americans did make it into the finals: Mike Budnick, Randy Marino, and this guy, Matt Lindemuth, who's been pushing the sport with his double backflips. He's got a couple new tricks up his sleeve. And this guy with no sleeves looking for the #1 spot. The ASA Pro Tour is brought to you by Yoo-Hoo, America's favorite chocolate drink, skates on or skates off. By Paul Mitchell, the style in lifestyle sports. And for all the latest on skating, check out asaskate.com. Feed your habit. Hey, welcome back to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's Summerfest and the Vert Finals here with the ASA Pro Tour. First skater up, Matt Lindemuth. Here's a guy with the golden trick.
My favorite trick, I think it's kind of obvious what my favorite trick is. I mean, right now, the double back for me on Vert is by far my favorite. Not only is like gratifying to me when I do it, but the crowd loves it. When I can get the crowd excited, I'm happy. You know, I mean, the skate, everyone likes it. It's just something for me that, you know, I don't think there could be another trick right now that I like. It's actually a few days before Milwaukee, I learned flat spins, which has been something that I should have learned a long time ago. I finally learned them. Fabiola and Shane Yost helped me learn them at Woodward. No, it's something new, it's something fun, but until the double backs are tired and everyone's sick of seeing them, that's going to be my favorite trick. Maybe, you know, maybe for the rest of my skating days, you know. It took me too long to learn it, you know. It's like, for me, the best.
Now, so far in this run, he's been working the coping well, but more importantly, he's been doing a lot of switch airs going both directions.
Well, this is what Matt's got to do. We probably won't see the double backflip at this event. I think he's saving it for the X Games, but he knows well, there's the new flat spin. He knows that the double backflip's not going to do anything for him at the X Games if he can't put it into a solid line.
And finishing the run, like you said, with a flat spin, he lost a little bit of speed, but the judges definitely love to see a guy learn new tricks and put him in the middle of their run.
That is so true, and it's so great to see Matt not getting complacent. Now that he's learned that double backflip, he's still pushing his limits.
Not till X.
Yeah, you heard it right there. He said not till X. He's going to save that trick, not let the judges again see it. He'll probably get it kind of worked out perfectly in his line. And right there it says 15 years old. Takeshi Yasutoko celebrates his birthday just before this event. But he's still the youngest guy out here, and he's darn close to the #1 ranking. He's been going back and forth between him and Shane Yost.
That's right. He's held it on a number of occasions already this season. But he's in a more interesting position coming into this finals event. He was out of the top 3 after the prelims as he throws that forward 900. So Takeshi is starting to see some challenge from some other guys, Shane Yost and Tig Chris, having great prelims runs. So if he's not careful, he could not only not move back into the #1 spot, but he could miss a podium here.
He hasn't missed a podium all season long yet, hoping not to do that. And the way this run's going, it's been better, definitely, than the prelim.
He did the backside, dropping down to sole across the coping. We're seeing a lot of familiar tricks from Takeshi, and then finishing with the 900, which, if ever there was a rap against this kid, it said he doesn't have a trick to finish those runs.
Throwing stuff out to the crowd. Hopefully not trying to hurt anybody. There's a rocket late 360. The classic Chris Edwards move from years ago. He's bringing it back with his unique style. 89 makes him the current leader. When we come back, the Aussies hit Summerfest and they hit the ramp hard.
This is one of the events that I always want to come back to just because it's such a big festival going on. Tons of people, everyone's having fun and laid back. It's vacation, you know?
Summerfest fun. I mean, nice people, nice guys, you know? Why not?
Summerfest is called the Big Gig for a good reason. Over 400 live acts and over 1 million people in 10 days.
The ASA always attracts the top rollerbladers from all over the world. In the finals, we've narrowed it down to just the top 10. Each rider gets 2 runs, and only the better of those 2 runs will count.
Not sure I like spins the grinds on Vert, like 360 to sole and things like that. I like tricks where you spin, then land on something. Kind of like spin to grinds are more fun than just a normal spin or just a normal grind.
Sam Fogarty stepping it up with some of the difficulty there. He's rewarded for it. Emmanuel Balearis. Now here's a guy who was one of the originators of big trips.
Interesting you should mention that. It's absolutely true. One of the first guys after Chris Edwards to do the big 540s and 720s. But watch how Manuel links all these 540s back to back. That's great, except for we know that he's doing it so he doesn't have to throw a 720.
That's why he sits in third right now.
Hi, my name is Manuel Bliss. I'm a professional inline skater from Australia. I'm here at the Milwaukee Summerfest. A whole bunch of people are around me, behind me, in front of me, all over the place, and I'm going to go check out every single one of them who I think is cute and adorable and say hello. You know what a porn star is?
A porn star?
I don't know the names, but I know I might have saw them today.
Have you heard of a topside soul?
No.
You done any tricks ever in your lifetime? Do you know what a power slide is?
Yes, I did.
You do? Can you demonstrate to us the power slide?
A power slide.
Because like your foot, your left foot goes all right on the edge here. And one foot goes here and one foot goes like this. So we're going to pretend we're going to go down a handrail. So it's on a downhill slope like a handrail. What a far thing you need basically to come out more this way. But not that part of your foot, this part of your foot, who your hairstylist is. And basically you need to sit your little tush over here. Well, the knees are to go over to the right, and your body comes down. Now this is what you call a topside soul grind. Now grind away. And put your hands out. That's the UFO. Lower, lower. Then you throw your hands out like this. The Milwaukee Summerfest 2001 has not stopped. As you can see, the people are still having a great time. Yeah! You're now a skater. Congratulations. So, Summerfest 2001 rock, and we'll see you again next year, and the skating as well. Peace out.
Spreading the gospel of rollerblading. Now we move on to another ambassador, Fabiola Da Silva.
Right now, I think I like to do flat spins, and I like 720 also, but right now they scare me. I still do it, but it's just scary for me. And I like to do flat spin because it's just fun, and not that many people can do it, like, you know? It's just a weird spin. But as long as you get it, and then it's easy, you know?
It's interesting to hear Fabiola talk about that 720 because you can tell as she throws it right here, landing on her feet, but you can tell when she throws it that she lacks a little bit of confidence on it. In the past couple of contests, we have seen her go down on that trick. So while she's still throwing it and still landing it occasionally, she's not doing it with the authority she had when she first learned it.
Well, she also learned it different than a lot of other skaters have. her 720 is more difficult because she literally gets upside down and almost stalls out the last 180.
That is absolutely true. Also like what Fabiola is doing on the coping, trying to incorporate some new lip tricks and some technical ones, coming in fake it to a lot of these grinds, the top side, sole, and even doing it to fish brain, and then going down on the flat spin 540.
She talked about that flat spin. She said she liked doing it, and once you got it, it's pretty easy, but here having some trouble. The 720, this time around, she nailed it. Good enough for 5th. Now that 69.50 is against the men.
Hi, I'm Tay Chris, just chilling at the Summerfest for the ASA Pro Tour on ESPN. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Yeah.
And when we do come back, we've still got a couple of the biggest guns, Shane Yost and Eito Yasutoko, still to skate. Welcome back to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We're underneath the bridge at Summerfest, the big gig, taking a look at one of the fastest evolving sports in the world, rollerblading.
On Vert right now, there's a couple of tricks that are being done that a lot of the skaters are making look a lot easier than they really are. You got Shane Yost doing the 1260, which I know he's landed a bunch of times and it's crazy. But if you simplify the 1260 and even take away one of the 360s, you got left the 900. And right now, the 900 is being done by so many skaters, and to do the 900 is so much harder than what it looks. You got probably 6 or 7 guys on the tour right now who are landing 900s consistently. When you get into something like a 900 or a forward 1260, you're coming around, you're spinning so fast, you really can't see much of anything. It's just sky, ground, sky, ground, sky, ground. And then what you have to do is you're coming around this way, and you're landing on a vert round, so your body has to be, without a doubt, there's no other way around it, your body has to be lying dead flat in a belly flop position. So if you suck in a little bit and catch your toes, you're gonna get hurt. If you push out a little bit and land flat bottom, there's no way to save yourself. So it's one of those tricks that's full commitment every time, and there's no other way around it. It's a very hard trick to really save yourself doing.
Yeah, I think we've almost taken for granted the difficulty of what some of these guys on vert do. Mike Budnick, one of the most solid vert skaters in the world, and you don't see him throwing the 900 yet.
Talk about solid. He's even got diesel written on his arm. This guy is definitely solid. But if Mike wants to finish in a podium position, he's got to do better than a 720 for his big trick.
The Garfunkel is really hard trick because the way to spin is totally different, you know. Like you don't spin like a rotation like 540, you know. You don't spin like backflip. So you spin just sideways, and you don't have to move nothing on the rotation side or on the backflip side. I've spent like the whole winter working on it, but finally I did it. Shane Yost did it first, and it's kind of weird because he did perfectly, you know. He could do it like every time, so nice and perfect, and now he cannot make it anymore.
Yeah, you know, the Garfunkel, it's one of those tricks. I don't know, sometimes my tricks like to evolve in some different ways, and sometimes they just like to disappear. And I think the old Garfunkel just it went for a walkabout somewhere.
He's had a really, really bizarre professional career so far. The Rookie of the Year, his rookie season. Then he comes back and ends last season ranked #1. And this year, some of the height in his run is completely gone.
Seems to be airing all right here. Not on the level with Eito or Tai, but he's staying above coping a good few feet. And then, of course, the strength of his runs is those spins, and he's throwing them out in spades here. Fakie 3, it looks like his skates are untied. Hopefully that won't mess him up. Forward 900, landing on his feet, losing a little bit of speed, hard to get back up to the coping. You know, something else that seems to take a walkabout every so often is Shane's psyche. That more than anything else has taken him out of a lot of contests. Right now, having a super run, Fakie 900 out of the backflip.
Wow, this run has got a lot to it. He also did the hurricane on the coping, which you don't see Shane doing a lot of big lip tricks. Whoa, coming back alley-oop on the 900 there.
Well, these guys, and especially a rider like Shane, they land those spins. So the judges really respond when a rider will take a risk and throw out a difficult grind. There's the flat spin 720. And then here's that true spin alley-oop Mizu, 270 back in the hurricane. And that's really what's going to separate them.
90.50. This could be his day, the first time he makes it onto the podium this season. Now be sure to check out the street competition here from Milwaukee as well, with Aaron Feinberg, Jaron Grove, Birthday Boy, Ryan Dawes, Randy Marino, Sean Robertson, and a number of other stunt masters. Go to asashskate.com for all the times and listings. When we come back, it's two-time X Games gold medalist Eito Yasutoko squaring off against the world champion Ty Chris. Brought to you by Corn Nuts. Feed your soul with 7 mean flavors. Corn gone wrong. By Mountain Dew Code Red. Do the do. And for all the latest on skating, check out asaskate.com. Feed your habit.
Welcome back to the Vert Finals, already underway. In fact, we're down to the final 2 riders of this contest, including 2-time X Games champion Eito Yasutoko.
My favorite trick is 1080 flat spin because it is my original trick, and yeah, I love 1080 flat spin.
Eito loves everything, I think. But the 1080 flat spin, in fact, is really a huge finishing trick. No one else does a 1080 quite like he does. He gets completely flat above the coping.
It's so nice to have that trick in his arsenal. After he has a great run, he knows he can finish with that 1080, and people will just go nuts. Setting up with the hover flip right into the flat spin 720. Now, the flat spin 1080 is a variation of that trick we just saw, the flat spin 720. It looks very similar, it just spins a lot quicker. Alley-oop topside porn star. Again, it's important to throw those grinds in. Don't want to rely too much on the airs and the spins. Got to show off some technicality. Eito's well aware of that.
He knows how to orchestrate a perfect line. There's the 540 flat spin. Now, he's obviously setting up for his finishing trick. 1080 flat spin, and he pulled it. No problem. Hey, why not finish with a fakie 900 and keep going? What a run for Eito Yasutoko. You can telescope the 1080 flat spin because if he does a 720 flat spin, he's got so much confidence. He goes right from the 540 into it. Here he takes a wall to set up, and then check this out. Look at how flat above the coping he gets. 3 full rotations and lands it nice. 93 even with almost everybody done. Eito Yasutoko sits in first place. Ty Chris, the last skater to go. The guy who qualified in first after the prelims, all the pressure in the world on him, but he kind of likes this position.
Well, this is turning into quite an interesting rivalry between Eito Yasutoko and Ty Chris. Last season, my goodness, look at how high Ty is going. Last season, wow. I want to make some comments, but he is going so high, I just have to take a second to admire this. Alley-oop 540 upside down. What I was going to say is that last season, you'd have to give the edge to Eito, but the way that Ty is skating this year, I feel comfortable saying that the edge goes to Ty.
Now, as far as statistics go, we've said it before, but he's now been in over 93 competitions. He's been on the podium 90 times. Twice, it was the X Games that eluded him, and this could be sort of a pre-look at the X Games.
Well, let's look at how he's doing it. I mean, this run has been chock full of tricks. Every single wall is a trick, and they're all difficult tricks. And then on top of all that, he does them with such height and such energy that it's hard to compete with this guy.
You see him throw his fist up. He's stoked. Switch 720, just one of his many tricks, right into a Garfunkel. So difficult to do 2 back-to-back tricks that difficult. He is stoked. 94.50 puts him on top for the second week in a row. Bristol and now Milwaukee. Ty Chris takes the gold. Eito Yasutoko the silver. Shane Yost the bronze, which means Takeshi didn't make the podium.
Ty, you're on a roll. Just straight up, you're on a roll. You've been winning a lot of competitions, skating very, very well. Tell me about it.
Well, I think, I started skating more in camp and more, and I think that improved my skating. I really try to push myself every weekend more and more. I try to invent tricks, to bring new tricks, and always to try to put details in my run to make it different. And not only for the crowd and the judge, also for myself. I'm bored to do always the same thing. And I guess also that now that I'm living in America and I'm skating big ramps, I get to use more big ramp, and it's great, definitely.
It's working.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks, man.
The corn nut sick trick happened not in the finals, but in the prelims by a skater we're used to seeing in sick trick contests on the street course. Now he's bringing that attitude to the Vert ramp, getting upside down with the invert into the alley-oop Mizu. Really innovative combination of an invert and a grind trick from Ryan Dawes.
So he didn't make the top 3, but Takeshi Yasutoko reclaims the #1 ranking in the world based on 52-week schedule. He's first, Shane Yaw second, tied Chris is in third. Mike Budnick's the top American in fourth, and Eito Yasutoko, Takeshi's older brother, sits in fifth because he didn't make it to last year's World Championships. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.
My jaw hangs out.